that they were free, and slavery has lost its sting. But they're not foolish, they can see you're lying deep within. Slavery has not left our doors, not yet, I'm sure. We have got to fight the battle some more. The time has come for every man in the Caribbean. Forge one common destiny, designed to make our people free. We have got to stand up for the rights, to lead the lives we choose, to change and answer to refuse. If you think the battle is done, my brother, and you are riding an illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love and justice, peace and unity. All illusion. We have no hold on these our native islands. Our hands are tied, we don't control our actions. From now we forward together in a social endeavor of old. Social control, we slave no more, we slave no more. Only then we'll slave no more. We'll beg no more, we'll stoop no more. Only then we'll forevermore, subjected from shore to shore, reflecting paradise and shame against our ancestral name. I didn't know warriors left among us to rise and shine, no heroes left to rise up unto the shrine, no martyrs in our history for the used to do. Scholars died to make us free, Puffy died to make us free, Family died to make us free. Must all these warriors die in vain, while we go back to slavery once again? If you think the battle is done, my brother, and you are riding an illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love and justice, peace and unity. All illusion, all illusion. We have no hold on these our native islands. Our hands are tied, we don't control our actions. From now we forward together in a social endeavor of old. Social control, only then we'll stoop no more. Only then we'll the struggle has only just begun. We've got to carry on, uniting these West Indian lands. May take us generations, but independent in this region don't mean one down. If we can be independent as one, the economical policies are disheartening. The people voices are ringing. We are tired of living a life of total subjection. Told what to spend and what to keep. God knows sometimes we ain't even have enough to eat. If you think the battle is done, my brother, and you are riding an illusion, an illusion. You talk of progress, love and justice, peace and unity. All illusion, all illusion. We have no hold on these our native islands. Our hands are tied, we don't control our actions. From now we forward together in a social endeavor of old. Social control, we slave no more, we slave no more. Only then we'll slave no more. We'll beg no more, we'll stoop no more. Only then we'll be
no more. Yes, that's the sound of the man. Brother King Short Shirt Day. But the short shirt says all illusion. That's what they want us to believe. Everything that they're saying, everything that they're singing is just factual. We must not double check anything for ourselves. Huh? I'm DJ Maurice, and I'm coming to you live and direct from my bunker here in the Republic of St. Paul, St. Kitts. Yes, you heard me right. I am still here in the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis. And I'm popping in here, and this evening is the 22nd of January already, 2025. The year is running away with us. And I'm just coming here to continue the conversation from last week. As a matter of fact, from the 8th of January 2025, I have been trying to get some messages around there to our good people who may be lost in the woods, not knowing what to believe, who to listen to, and factual. But for you folks who might be just strolling the web and running to us and wondering what this podcast is all about, I'm DJ Marisha here coming to you live from the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis at the moment. So let me drop this ad that you folks can know what this program is all about.
Wednesday evenings are heating up. Log on to DJ Marishaw's Facebook Live broadcast every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a frank and candid exploration into the social, cultural, political, and economic issues affecting our federation. And just in case you missed it, you can also catch the broadcast on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube and smash that bell. You will be notified whenever he goes live. DJ Marishaw, every Wednesday evening, Facebook 6 to 8 p.m. or thereafter on his YouTube channel, DJ Marishaw. Log on.
Yes, you heard it right. We're here each and every Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. This evening, we're popping in a bit early as I'm trying to finish on time at 8 p.m. local time here in St. Kitts Nevis. So, my good people, before we take it any further, let's take a listen to what my boy Carbo over there in the fountain area in Nevis have to tell us about his goat water and fungi and fish and the good stuff and that end.
Cabos, located at Fountain Village in Nevis, is the go-to spot for your Saturday treats. Tantalize your taste buds with his delectable Cabos Delicacy Goat Water. Or, if you prefer some soul food, then Cabos Fungi and Fish is definitely the way to go. Call ahead and reserve at 869-663-9694. Then make your way over to Cabos and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere while you savor your delicacy. Cabos, we are not changing, we are only improving.
Food all over, food all over, you got the food all over.
Yes, you got the food all over the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis, but Carbo, the very best goat water in the Federation, is right there in Queen City, Nevis. Feel free to reach out to Carbo, let him know that DJ Marisha sent you. Now let's hear what my good girl, dear sister Carmen, have to tell us about Carmen Caterers.
Girl Sandra, you know where you can find nice fresh local food 7 days a week, one provision and all kind of thing. Girl, where? Right down there by Shellings, by Carmen Catering Services. Girl, she opposite the bus stop. Girl, and she also cater for weddings, parties, anything you want to cater for, funeral and all. Girl, and trust me, you're gonna enjoy the food. And she also selling bites and Sundays. Opposite the our shop, right there on the main road. Girl, you could call 665-1494 or 663-6005 to order your food or go and pick up your food. Girl, the food will be finger licking and you get your money worth. You ain't want nothing better than that.
I can attest to that. I had some lovely squash, green banana, and some stew fish earlier from Carmen. Very tasty. Lovely lady with a smile. Just check her there, right across from the West Ferry Terminal there in downtown Bastille. From Monday to Saturday, midday, which is 12 noon until 5 p.m. And on Sunday, you check her over there in the Boyd's Village, opposite the Ogawa shop in Boyd's Village. You check her there and let her know DJ Marisha sent you, and she will definitely take care of you. Now let me hear what my boy brother Malvin Gums of the Spectrum Band in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands have to say about the DJ.
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're listening to DJ Marisha, playing you the best in Caribbean music.
You got that?
Hey, this is Malvern from Spectrum Band, and you're locked into DJ Marisha. Keep it locked.
Right there. And my good people, like I said, we comes to you on a Wednesday evening from 6 to 8 p.m. So since I come a little bit early this evening, I think I have the opportunity to drop a track before I bring through my good brother there, the man J.A. Dwyer Astafan's commentary. So let me drop this one by the King Short Shirt out of Antigua. Let's awake our youths this evening.
We live carefree in this country, while our youths are drifting slowly, while we're heading for depression. Don't you see a problem? If somebody don't help them, they will drift on endlessly, and so will this country. They are the fruits of the nation and its salvation. Our future lies in their hand. They are tomorrow's leaders, so we must make sure that our children stand. Wake the youth, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Teach them thy truths that they might see, that to save a dying world is their destiny to be. Raise up, stand up for your country. Forward on, forward on, forward on, forward on. Awake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Wake them before they grow too old to hear.
To the Lord, to the Lord.
They are drifting, they are wasting. Utilize them or we lose them. Unemployment leaves no alternative but to walk and wander, lime thief or beg. And some policemen are ever willing to beat and shoot our young men. Frustrated and angry, degraded and hungry, brother, they line the street in a trance. Tell me, how can they excel in this country if they're not given a chance? Wake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Teach them thy truth that they might see, that to save a dying world is their destiny to be. Raise up, stand up for your country. Forward on, forward on, forward on, forward on. Awake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Wake them before they grow too old to care. Motivate them, stimulate them to meet the challenge that confronts them. Let's not sit and watch them waste away. Let us rise and conquer greed and selfishness and make life easier, if not sweeter, for the poor and powerless. watch our actions and our intentions. And brother, they can plainly see all that money we are wasting. Won't increase production, but will only suppress liberty. Wake the youths, I sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Teach them thy truth that they might see that to save a dying world is their destiny to be. Raise up, stand up for your country. Forward on, forward on, forward on, forward on. Awake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Wake them before they grow too old to care. Liberate them, activate them, end suppression and exploitation. Let our investments be the youths of this land. And all our aspirations, all our hopes and goals, and all our dreams and wildest notions, utopia will unfold. But if we neglect and oppress them, harass and abuse them, we'll have trouble in this land. With so much unemployment, there surely be violence. The devil find work for idle hands. Wake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Teach them thy truth that they might see that to save a dying world is their destiny to be. Raise up, stand up for your country. Forward on, forward on, forward on, forward on. Awake the youths, my sleeping country. Wake them, wake them, wake them, let them rise and shine. Wake them before they grow too old to care.
Yes, share the live, share the live. Awake our youths of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, here locally in the Federation, regional and internationally. We want the brains to come back and save this country. We got to awake our youths and teach them the right thing to do. Because what I'm seeing here in this beloved Federation, it all depends on the time of the day, the days of the week, who is in office, determine what is wrong and right. And it's a very sad time for me to see these kind of things happening. So my people, the conversation continues from last week. But just before I get into that conversation, let me drop my boy, the Honorable G.A. Dwyer Astafan's commentary for today, the 22nd of January 2025. You know, it's been a very long week. People telling me they can't wait for Wednesday to come to hear what I'm coming with this week. I don't know what's so special about this evening, but I'm going to do my best to keep the message coming to you and make sure that I don't disappoint your online viewers. So stand by for the Honorable G.A. Dwyer Astafan coming to you right at the top of the hour, right here at the DJ Marisha Experience on a lovely Wednesday evening.
Greeting. Today's commentary is about Christoff Harbor and its significance to the development of our country. For those of you who are not aware of Christoff Harbor, I invite you to Google it. Meanwhile, here's a little help. It is located on the southeast peninsula of St. Kitts. And to give you a sense of the size of the southeast peninsula, St. Kitts is 68 square miles in area, The Southeast Peninsula is about 7 square miles, and the Christoff Harbor is about 4 square miles. In an earlier commentary, I'd said that Christoff Harbor, which is about 2,500 acres, is 1/12 the size of St. Kitts. That was incorrect. It is in fact about 1/17 of the size of St. Kitts. So 17 Christoff Harbors in terms of land size, and you have St. Kitts. That makes it very significant for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. Now, for hundreds of years, the lands at the Southeast Peninsula, extending from Frigate Bay right down to the end of the peninsula, were owned by a small number of persons who used it for their own personal enjoyment. And apart from being allowed to harvest salt from time to time at the Great Salt Pond, where the marina now sits, the people of this country got virtually nothing out of that area. And to add insult to injury, they were not allowed free access to the beaches in the area, from Frigate Bay down to the end. I mention these things so that those of you who might not know will now know and maybe ask some questions. And those of you who do know will remember and maybe provide some answers to those who don't know. We have to know our history. And to complete the picture of land ownership, for your information, most of the sugar estates in the remaining 90% of St. Kitts were also owned by a very small number of people. In other words, therefore, nearly all of St. Kitts was owned by a handful of people. Think of what would have happened to the people of this land had the Bratcher administration not acquired Frigate Bay and the sugar estate lands. Think of it. In the 1960s and 70s, Bratcher and his colleagues made the initial push towards tourism and towards the broadening of the economy, building an international airport, a deep sea port, and so forth. We saw hotels such as the Golden Lemon, Fairview Inn, Ocean Terrace Inn, Holiday Inn, and on the Southeast Peninsula, Cockleshell Bay and Banana Bay, and sometime later, Bird Rock Beach Hotel. At Frigate Bay, which is about 1.25 square miles in area, Bratcher and his colleagues introduced a master development, including the Royal St. Kitts Hotel, an 18-hole championship golf course, hundreds of residential lots, many of which were bought by and are occupied by citizens of this country. And they paved the way for condominium, hotel and residential developments such as Island Paradise Beach Village, Leeward Cove, Timothy Beach Resort, Frigate Bay Beach Hotel, St. Christopher Club, Horizons Villas, Sea Lofts, Silver Reef, etc. Mr. Bratcher was in favor of tourism, but he wanted the industry to be a source of empowerment and prosperity for our people. He had seen situations to the contrary in neighboring islands, and he wanted to avoid that. So he was cautious about how the Southeast Peninsula and tourism generally should be developed. In the 1980s, the Simmons administration built the Kennedy-Simmons Highway from Frigate Bay to the tip of the Southeast Peninsula, and landowners in the area made a killing. I know one of them raised his price from $3,000 per acre to $30,000 per acre when he found out that the road was to be built. They were, and up to today, in my opinion, have been and are the primary beneficiaries of this road having been built. Apart from a very popular restaurant and some homes in the Turtle Beach area, there was no large-scale development back then. Now, I'm not knocking the road because I believe it was necessary. I might disagree with the way in which certain things were done, but be that as it may, it is my view that the people of this country have not fairly benefited from that part of the island. And the reason for that is failed leadership of all of the administrations from the 1980s. And whatever our criticisms may be of the present administration, it is a fact that they inherited these massive problems from previous administrations. And solving massive problems does not happen quickly. While I'm on this, let me say that our people today are very impatient, and often impatient closes our minds to thinking things through rationally. We want something and we want it now. No explanation, no excuse. But that is not realistic. And that impatience often leads us into even more problems as we find ourselves irrationally and unwisely, especially in politics, again placing hope in the very people who had been responsible for the problems that erupted to explosive level. Fast forward to 2004, 2005 with the Douglas administration. A company named Auberge, led by a man named Turbiddy, started buying up land with the stated intention of doing a master project. 2 agreements were signed between the government and Auberge, one in April 2005 and the other in October 2005. Finally, KHT Holdings Limited came into the picture, led by Charles Buddy Darby of South Carolina, USA. And in June 2007, what I considered then and consider now to be a terrible agreement was signed by Dr. Douglas for the government and by Mr. Darby for KHT. The declared intention was to do a major multi-billion-dollar development. It would include 2 world-class hotels, a grand marina, a world-class championship golf course, a large number of upmarket homes, and business opportunities and jobs galore for Kittitians and divisions. I'm told that over 100 house lots out of the 1,000 or plus 1,000 lots were sold, and they fetched handsome prices for the developer. After about 2013 though, things seemed to slow down almost to a full stop. Today, nearly 18 years after that Darby-Douglas agreement, there are only about 30 homes, 1 hotel, the Park Hyatt, which is a lovely hotel, an underactive marina, and a situation in which all of the stakeholders in the Southeast Peninsula in Christoff Harbor particularly, are struggling. Under the agreement of June 2007, all contractors and subcontractors engaged by KHT would be eligible for duty concessions, and foreign builders were brought in by KHT and others blocking out our very own. And all of these contractors enjoyed concessions which were not available to local contractors and businesses. And that included heavy equipment operators. So from the jump, our people were put at a serious disadvantage. All of this happening to them in their own land. Signed to by our then leader with the approval of the cabinet, of which I was a member. I expressed my views very strongly. And while all of that happened, the developer borrowed millions of dollars of your money from the SIDF, from the National Bank, and owed Skelec millions of dollars, taking our people's work away, but using our people's money. And at the same time, depriving the homeowners and other stakeholders and the country as a whole of the benefits of a development whose potential had been realized. Somebody said to me something that nearly made me puke. He said that a politician had told him with zest and zeal, Buddy is back and Christoff Harbor will now go forward. All of this time, 17, 18 years have passed, KHT and Buddy Darby. All of this time, promises unfulfilled, disappointment, suffering and loss. We can't go forward with Buddy Darby. And this is what happens when individuals with poor judgment, individuals who cannot or care not to properly negotiate a good arrangement for the country and its people, individuals who are otherwise unsuitable to occupy positions of leadership or are simply downright foolish, and some may be glad men and glad women, feel that they have arrived by being a so-called big shot, eating at grand restaurants, flying business class, staying in $500 night hotels at your cost or somebody else's, forgetting what they're there for, to represent, protect, and advance your best interests. Unsuited for leadership, but by and large, these are the people who we have been electing. Foolishness about Buddy is back. So here we are now in January 2025. I believe that it is true to say that the Drew administration is seeking a way forward with Christoff Harbor. Indeed, the Prime Minister has declared that he will make an announcement on Christoff Harbor next month. We shall find out what he has to say to us. Meanwhile, I am keeping a full head of steam on this, because the people of this country and stakeholders in Christoff Harbor have been deprived too long by not being allowed to reap their deserved benefits from a project which, properly structured, developed and managed, would have been a godsend for us. And it is not too late, but it is too late for Buddy in my book. And this is why I've started a petition to press the Drew administration to step in and clean up the situation. bring in the right team for the job, craft a new and fair deal that would benefit all concerned, not the least the people of this land. And let's go with it. And if the PM announces that Mr. Darby is involved, we must let him know how we are displeased. The Douglas and Harris administrations failed us miserably on Christoff Harbor. Douglas, receiving bad advice and exercising bad judgment, allowed the critical problem to start and continue for 8 years until he was ousted. And his successor, Harris, allowed the problem to continue and worsen for another 7 years until he too was ousted. This is why I said earlier, our impatience sometimes leads us to choosing the very problem causers to come now and solve the very problems that they caused. We can't do that. Imagine what a strong position our country might have been in if Douglas and Harris had not failed us on Christoff Harbor. Imagine all of the business opportunities, the development opportunities for our people, all of the growth that Christoff Harbor could have provided. And as I said, it is not too late. But bad leadership between 2007 and 2022. Leaders who were taken up and content with all of that money coming from the CBI and not realizing the need, the urgent need to get down to the business of fixing Christoff Harbor and weaning ourselves off this great dependency on the CBI. They even allowed some CBI money to end up in Christoff Harbor's hands, as I told you earlier. Look at perhaps the 3 economic and developmental projects and game changers in this country over the past 20 years. CBI, Christoff Harbor, and Kittitian Hill. And Douglas and Harris messed up all 3, failed the people of the country on all 3. The transformation that was available to us with all of the money and took projects with immense potential at both ends of the island. Both leaders failed us on those things. That's the whole ball game right there. Those 2 leaders. Billions upon billions of dollars worth of opportunity for development and empowerment. Where are those billions upon billions? Where are the development and the empowerment? Please understand how you've been ill-treated and deprived, robbed of prosperity by bad leadership. And this is why we have to move forward and to continue moving forward, never to go back. And we must send the message clearly that we will tolerate no more failure. As I said earlier, these massive problems take time to fix. We have become so Americanized, so westernized. Everything must be now. Well, if everything must be now, that's a problem in itself. We have to imbibe the spirit and the culture of our ancestors and give things a chance to work themselves out and offer our thoughts and our ideas and our energy to solving these problems, realizing that they take time to fix. These are the 3 major problems in the country. Well, 3 of the major problems, certainly in terms of economic development. Meanwhile, I urge you to go to Facebook at Rescue Christoff Harbor. Rescue Christoff Harbor and sign my petition. We, the people, have our work to do. It is we who must keep decision makers on their toes. This is the only way we can achieve and sustain democracy and prosperity in our country. We need to stop relying on political leaders and other leaders to be the ultimate deciders of our destiny. We must be the deciders. But we have to get knowledge, we have to get information, we have to be reasonable, and we have to be fair. Please sign the petition. Go to Facebook, look for Rescue Christoff Harbor, and sign up. I say, Buddy Darby, no disrespect, nothing personal, must go. And if you agree, sign the petition. Please and thank you.
Maybe Mr. Wilkins should.
Well, Brother Stefan, thanks for that mouthful. Lovely commentary this evening. I just have a few questions for you, Doya, and I really don't want to ask you a question when you're not here with me. So you speak about Douglas and Harris in regards to this Christoff Harbor project. From my knowledge, I don't think neither Douglas or Harris had the authority on their own to sign any deal with Christoff Harbor or their representatives without having a conversation with cabinet and get some approval. And I want to believe, Dwyer, that this period that you're speaking about, you was a part of the Labour administration led by Dr. Douglas. I think it's last week, if not 2 weeks ago, I heard the Prime Minister made a statement, might have been at his round table, that he's going to have some announcement to make at the end of February in regards to the Christoff Harbor situation. So I am really a bit at a loss, Dwyer, that you're here with a commentary today about Christoff Harbor before hearing what the Prime Minister is bringing to the country and to the people. But I will wait and hear what the Prime Minister have to say to the country before I get too deep into this conversation. But while I was listening to the commentary, there's a couple of things that pop out. Because if you, Dwyer, are now saying that you started some campaign on Facebook to get signatures to stop the current owners of Christoff Harbor to move forward, I can only assume that you have someone in place to replace this individual. And if that is the case, I would like to know who this individual is, what guarantee you have for the people and the country that it's going to be any different to what's there. I also would like to know what was your contribution during cabinet with this conversation if you're saying that you did not agree, and what was the response of the rest of cabinet. We continue to hear these politicians comes out and campaign what they're going to do when they get into office. And from my little knowledge, I got promoted to professor last week by one of the social media bloggers out there. So I did not apply for any professorship, but I guess somebody wants to make joke. So they have to do their stuff for their likes and for their popularity. They have to give you the online viewers what you want to hear. But nevertheless, the bottom line here is this. I am of the view that when investors come into this country, whoever bring them in here, there's some kind of benefit to them. So if there is an investor in mind, Brother Dwyer, I want you to come and let's talk to the people. Let's have an open conversation. If there's an investor, I would like to know who the investor is, what your role with this investor, what is the benefit? Because there are many other things that we can talk about right about now, There are many things that are facing us head on in this country right now. And I have not seen a commentary or heard a commentary about them. Let's start in the sister island over there in Nevis. Something very simple. I think much simpler to take care of than the Christoff Harbor issue, Dwyer. We got a hospital wing over there in Nevis that started in 2017. I understand the original figure for it was some 8 million. But anyway, I think they say it started at 17 million in 2017. And it was supposed to complete in 2019. Well, we are now in 2025. So let's add up those numbers. And you choose not to do a commentary on that. Many of the other media outlets out there, the Freedom FM, the ZIZ, nobody touching it. But from what I understand, federal funds went into that property as well, And the property is nowhere close to finish. And we're not hearing nothing about it. And I am not giving no credit to the Green team over there, because they had the election in their hand in 2022 with that hospital wing and many other unfinished projects. But because of their infight and their harshness, they basically throw what you call a raft, a life raft at the CCM party at Premier Brand, and he used it, he accepted it, and he running with it. Because the wing is sitting there, nothing different to what it was in 2022 from what I can observe, other than the paint they put outside. Nothing have changed. And I'm hearing the green team and the representative talking about everything else except that hospital. But I could understand why they cannot talk about the hospital wing. Because yours truly thought he was doing the people of Nevis a favor, the people of the Federation a favor, the green team a favor to assist them in bringing some awareness to what was taking place. And what they did, they campaigned against the march. They say it was a private march. What does DJ Marisha have to gain by doing an awareness march in Nevis, other than bringing information to the people of Nevis? Who was to benefit from an awareness march? The green team. So when I'm listening to some of these professors, Dwyer, for example, Sam Kanda, Dr. Martin, my good friend Junior now, Friday afternoon, talking the things then. Why these importance issues where money have been wasted, federal funds have been wasted in my view, and nobody can touch it. But if somebody started a project, did an investment, and things did not work out the way that they would hoped, and they had to take a little lull, and now they might be out there trying other things to get the project up and running, and they can get it back on track. Why shut it down? Everybody deserves a second chance in life. None of us are perfect. We learn by our mistakes. The problem is if you keep repeating the mistakes. But some things are out of your control, and you just have to continue trying. You know what Jimmy Cliff said? Try and try. You succeed at last. So Dwyer, this particular commentary today, I appreciate the information that you're bringing. It's an eye-opener. But if we're going to get down this hard on Christoff Harbor, I would like you to put the same energy into the hospital wing in Nevis. I would like you to put the same energy into your friend Premier Mark Brantley. And as I said before, my people, I have no issue with Mark personally. But when I come here on a Wednesday evening to have a conversation, we got to talk the things them and be real, you know. We got to talk the things them and be real. Because, you know, life is about being there for your sister and brother when in need. But more so, God give you the health and strength to be there for your community, for your brothers and sisters, not just for your own selfishness. You know? What I see going on in St. Kitts is a lot of bad mind, dark heart, selfish people. It's about me, me, me. And you elect people into office to take care of the country and to take care of its people. And because you're benefiting in a little way, you try to twist, spin, do everything except what is right. You know, I came here in January, I think it was the 8th was my first podcast. And at the end of my podcast, I was speaking to the gentleman, the NSA, Dr. Rollins. And something came across the thread about mold. And I commented on it, but I never dove into it because I did not want to go into overtime. It will take too much time for that. And I still have to address the mold situation because I see something going crazy about the hospital in Nevis with mold and whatever over the weekend. My good people, there are various aspects of mold. And believe me, I do these trainings in the US for several years. And there's all aspects of mold out there that we can speak about. And when people talking about smelling mold, you don't really smell mold, you know. You smell the toxic stuff that is involved in that mold. And when people are going to, for example, come to me and tell me that there's a patient room at the JNF, or there is an area in a back office that they're smelling mold. You cannot smell those things. Those things, you have to do tests to know what they are, because most of it is just residue from the condensation and the heat that build up. You get a black mark on the wall. That is not mold. Mold is something that requires damp atmosphere, moisture to survive. Mold go in your home as well. And when people speak about we smelling mold, I'm pretty sure many of you who may wash in a washing machine, you have damp clothes in your house, they didn't get to dry, you smell that scent. You say smell moldy. That is not the type of mold that we are speaking about on a wall in a hospital or in a basement. And you need persistent humidity and condensation for mold to grow. You know, I have a 10 page here that we can go dive into, but I'm not going to take up the whole evening with all of that. But I can tell you a couple of things that affect us with mold in this country, and you could just check for yourself and see if you have that situation in your home or where you work. The common causes of mold. One is the persistent humidity in the area, in that room. Leaking pipes in the home or in your area. Leaking roof. A buildup of condensation. Poor ventilation in your home or in the area that you're speaking about. Wet and damp clothing there for a long period of time. Your home have been flooded. A damp basement. Foundation dampness. Leaking air conditioning system for a long period of time. There are so many things. If you have a broken or a leaking septic tank, for example, at the hospital where I work in New York, one of our buildings, well, several of them, the hospital is like 18, 20 floors high. You got sinks and bathrooms and ORs, all kind of stuff in the hospital that in a hospital will have. And all of those things have to go somewhere. So those drainage, we got different type of drains to take whatever waste to where. And it's in the basement that those waste comes. And when it gets there, there's tanks that collect those wastes, and there is chemicals that we use to treat those wastes before you can pump it back out to the street into the regular waste lines, drain lines. So there's a lot involved. Here in our beloved Federation, St. Kitts Nevis, I know there's a treatment plant at the JNF. Anyone that passed by there might see the equipment, not realizing that that's a treatment plant for the waste that treats the chemical from the hospital and stuff like that. But many of the normal buildings here in our federation, because we have a different atmosphere to in the US, we don't have treatment plants, and many of the buildings that I can see is lack of preventative maintenance. Sometimes it's as simple as just scraping the dry paint, because the wall gets saturated with water when you have a lot of rain and the wind blowing water penetrate the wall. The paint on the inside, after the wall is dry, start cracking up, start coming off. Just a matter of scraping the wall, sealing the walls, and paint them. But everything is mold in our beloved federation. So you guys go on Google, and you all Google mold. And for the people in those areas that don't know better, go along with it because they see a black mark or a brown mark. You know, mold show a particular coloring, brownish, greenish color. It's a distinct thing that the outdoor is very noticeable. You know, it is something that growing like you have moss growing on a wall someplace. You can really see it and pay attention to it, my good people. So let's not get caught up in those things just for political experience. And because somebody posts some picture on social media, you go crazy about mold. I am not in Nevis, so I cannot really say what is in Nevis, because I have asked for permission to take a little tour in Nevis, not to create any problem, but to see what contribution I could have offered to help. And so far, I have not heard back from the health minister. But at the JNF, all of this noise you guys hear about mold, I can attest to you, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. And I am not in a position to invite anyone to the JNF for a tour. But what I would suggest, I'll suggest that for the people, whether government or citizens, individuals, instead of out there week after week, tearing down the situation at the JNF in terms of the structure of the building and the equipment and the operation there, I will make a suggestion that you reach out to the administrators at the administration building, request a tour of the JNF, and I'll be happy if I am the person selected to give you a tour, to show you that a lot of these things that you guys are seeing in social media is not so. It is not true. I started at the JNF in September of 2023. And as I've said to everyone, when I heard the individuals, my good friend there, Ian Patchins-Libert, and the other folks who are talking about the leaky roofs, the plants going out of the drain lines, the damaged areas and open walls, everything that they're talking about was factual. They know what they left there. They knew what they left. So they was basically making a good argument. I am saying today, the 15th of January, the 22nd of January 2025, I am telling them today I will challenge any one of them. Ian Patchins-Libert, whoever, the leader of PAM, whoever, Dr. Timothy Harris, any one of you, make the arrangement, come to the JNF, and I will give you guys a tour if I am the person selected to do so. And I will tell you guys, you'll be amazed of the amount of work and the improvement that has done at the JNF in the past year and a half. And I'll go as far as say, since the change of administration, because a lot of efforts was made from the start of the Joe administration. But since I've been around it, I can speak about it. One thing I can say, without any water in my mouth, and who don't like it, tough. There's something that I see, and it's not just at the JNF, I think it's throughout the civil service, and maybe in the entire federation, is the attitude of the people. The service, when people are coming to you for healthcare, to buy food, to support your business, you got to show some appreciation. Be kind. Sometimes I go to certain restaurant and I will say to the people, man, give me a smile, this food I'm taking. I want to make sure when I'm eating, I can feel good, that I get a good smile. You know? You go down to many of these businesses. Last week, I was at a Chinese restaurant. Not a Chinese restaurant, a Chinese supermarket. I would not say which village, because for me it was disappointing. It was very disappointing. There was an exchange between a young lady and the Chinese person that is cashing. And whatever the exchange was, the individual called the lady a bitch. And I said, listen, big man, no matter what conversation you guys may having or whatever problem you all have, it does not matter. Never call a woman a bitch. It doesn't matter what conversation you all are having. That's not a good word to use. I have a problem with it. And he tried to explain that she comes in there and disrespect him, whatever, whatever. I say it does not matter. You can find other things to say other than calling any woman a bitch. I have a problem with it. Then the young lady said to me, Marisha, the little baby came in here. My little baby here, the little girl. And she take up a candy. And he want to call police because the lady pick up a candy. Is that right? I said, no, it's not right. If the baby pick up a candy, all he had to do is charge you for it. She said, that's all he have to do. But he went on like whatever. And, you know, if I have a business, not if, I had businesses over the years. And when people bring their kids with them, I give the kids for free. Whatever they purchase, I give the kids something for free. I always love to take care of kids. That is something that I grew up with. I gave a story some years back on this podcast. One of the things I could remember as young as I was, our first Premier Bradshaw had a wife, Miss Millie Bradshaw. We used to go to Sunday school over at the Anglican Church in St. Paul's. And I remember Millie Bradshaw used to bring some big bag of candies and gave them to my uncle-in-law, Tinny Morris, to give to us in Sunday school. And I would never forget, Tinny gave this young lady named, we call her Lulu, the candy to give out. And Lulu gave everybody 3, 2, whatever. And when she finished giving out the candy, none leave. So Tinny said to her, this is a lesson learned. Whenever you get something to share, make sure you take out yours first, then you share the rest. And I think this is the first thing these politicians learn in St. Kitts Nevis, you know. Believe it or not. They go into cabinet and they sit down and decide what they're going to take first. And they take care of themselves before they take care of the citizens that they campaign to take care of, you know. So I don't really have an issue with them making sure that they're okay, but take care of the people. But thank goodness, Tinny had some candy he was able to give Lulu Hashir, so everybody got some candy. But I learned something from Miss Bradshaw, because what I did, when I got the opportunity to leave St. Kitts and start coming back, I did the same thing. I donate stuff to the Anglican Church, lawn tractors, fans, help them fix the roof. I will bring at Christmas time, or every time I come, I bring some big bag of candies. And I had a situation one time. At the time, Dwyer was Minister of Tourism. And when I got into RLB, the young lady asked me if I have anything to declare. I said no, because I know as a citizen, you allow X amount of monies duty-free before you start paying. Well, they decided to search my bag anyway, and they found 2 big bags of, candies. And that customer officer decided to search me up. They charged me some $80 for the 2 bags of candies. Basically, I bought the candies 3 times, because where I'm coming from with those candies, it didn't cost me that much. I told him I'm bringing the candies for the church. When I told the young lady I am bringing the candies for the Anglican Church, the young lady looked at me in my face. You think you could fool me? Are you only in a circle? The candies for your business. I left it alone. And sometime later, I spoke to Dwyer about it. And Dwyer said, boy, Jeffrey, why didn't you come and tell me that? Let me go up there and deal with the matter. I said, Dwyer, for me to come to you to complain about $80 EC, will be wasting my time and your time. I would hope that the money went into the treasury and somebody benefit, because I'm sure the money didn't go into her pocket. And on second thoughts, with what's going on today, you're never sure what's going on, because some of the monies that these people charge you, you really would want to know is what's going on. You know, for the last couple of weeks, I have people keep calling me and asking me what happened between myself and Mr. Daly Dan Nevis. And I decided I wasn't going to touch it. I had a program, my last program on December 18th. I invited Mr. Martinez of MSR Media to speak to you, the people, based on the information that I received. And he agreed to come. And he said some things on the podcast on the 18th. And Mr. Daly decided to take it on himself and went on his podcast on the Saturday, the 21st of December, and went on a rampage, basically calling this podcast garbage. And I responded to him that same evening, you know. I responded to him. And I told him, if this podcast is garbage, then basically he's garbage as well. Because if you guys can recall, Mr. Daly and his partner, Carlisle, made several appearances on this podcast. And Mr. Daly have said to me privately and publicly, he enjoyed when he come here and chat with me. He enjoyed the conversation. He appreciated the podcast. But he chose to call it garbage. So my good people, to shut down this conversation and hope that I don't have to have it again, let me play the clips where Mr. Daly decided he wanted to chastise the vision not to listen to this podcast and trying to say that I'm supposed to do things his way. Well, I want all of you out there who are listening to understand something. We all think for ourselves. And it's okay to have a different position politically, but we don't have to hate each other. We don't have to try to kill each other. We don't have to badmouth each other. We are adults. Let's do the right thing. So let's take a quick listen.
DJ Mauricio on his Wednesday show. I don't know if Mauricio invited Philip Martinez to his show, or whether some other person suggested that he put Philip on his show. Or I don't know if he solicited the interview from Philip Martinez, or whatever permutation of that. The end result is Philip Martinez ended up on the DJ Mauricio show on Wednesday evening. I have stopped watching DJ Mauricio for over a year now, for obvious reasons. The first question that comes to mind: who is behind continuing the dialogue with Philip Martinez? Who stands to benefit and who stands to lose from the continued presence of Philip Martinez in our midst? Who's behind this? Who's pulling the strings?
I believe the person who he indicated influenced him to take out these cases against us in the Federation.
Who stands to benefit, right, from this? Mm-hmm. Because I got a call from a friend of mine from Canada on Thursday morning. A good hour call. We always speak for a long time.
Okay.
And he said to me, Daly, did you listen to Mauricio on Wednesday night? I said, no. He said, you really need to go and listen. I said, why would I need to go to listen? It's normally garbage. I don't need to listen to that. He said, well, MSR was on, the gentleman from MSR was on. You need to listen because they leveled some accusations, he leveled some accusations against you. I said, against me?
What level of accusation?
The same Philip Martinez level accusations against me. So I said, well, save me the trouble of having to go find this tape and hear what these accusations were. And he said to me, Philip Martinez said that I tried to, and he called me by name, Kelvin Daly tried to extort $10,000 a month from him. If I am to stop writing or stop pressurizing him and MSR, that I, Kelvin Daly, wanted to or offered to take $10,000 for my silence. You hear me? There are a lot of people who...
Now, basically, Mr. Daly, as I said, on December 21st, this podcast, the guest on this podcast is invited and approved by one person. There is no board. DJ Maui shall run this podcast. My engineer in the background, Brother Ike out of Trinidad and Tobago, the only time he operates my system is for technical service. My nephew, Glenville Lawrence, and other technicians, they cut clips as I request them. No one determines who comes on this podcast, and no one come on this podcast and disrespect nobody, and I don't deal with it. I am going to play a second clip, Brother Daly. And if you want to give people advice, I think you need to give yourself before you give it to other people. Because you are very disrespectful, young man. Out of order. And a lot of people in Nevis have said to me over the years, since 2022, the reason why they will never support NRP is because of you. Your attitude, the things you say, cussing people. If you are doing politics and you want to be a politician and somebody disagree with you or your ideology, you try to find out where you can meet and bring them over to you, not cussing them. I was one, if not the biggest ally that NRP had. Brother Daly, it's people like you turn me off. I lost no love for you. I love you as a person. The problem is you're not trustworthy. Because once you're gonna lie to me in front of my face like that, I cannot trust you anymore, but I don't hate you. I just know how to deal with you. So let's take a listen to the second clip.
There are a lot of people who listen to Marisha Shaw from Nevis. There are a lot of people who listen to Marisha Shaw who also listen to Tell Me and On Target. And if you continue to support that sort of nonsense, and the host did not step in to say, no, you're going too far with this, not here. You don't deserve, he doesn't deserve your listenership. I can't tell you what to do. I could never dare to tell you who to listen to or what to listen to. All I'm saying, if you do listen to On Target and the quality of our shows, you listen to Tell Me and the quality of our shows, you listen to Your Voice at NRP and the quality of our show, and you tune in and choose to continue to listen to Marisha, you need to look at yourself.
It's choice.
People have choices.
It's choice.
All right? And I'm not taking anybody's choice, but you have to make a decision about what goes in your ear and what comes out the other side, and what you take from these shows. You cannot be supporting rubbish.
So, basically, Brother Daly is calling this podcast rubbish. And my good friend Tulu, Pastor Tulu, sits there and entertain the conversation without putting him in his place. You know, I have maximum respect for Tulu. That awareness march in Nevis that was done, Tulu is one of those individuals that came out and supported that march. So I give him credit and have a little better sense than Brother Daly and the rest that boycott their own march. But you know what I got for Brother Daly? I got a song here. The true sense of the word. There are some things I can call Mr. Daly, but I wouldn't waste my time doing that because I would not change the individual. I was told by someone during my time campaigning for the NRP that I'm going to find out who certain individuals in the NRP are and the reason why they cannot get the people together to protest or even come out to do the things they need to do to get into office. And I remember Premier Brantley made a statement, and I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. He said, stay out of Nevis politics because we don't understand it. Well, I understand what Premier is saying now. So, Brother Brantley, thanks for your advice. I learned the hard way. And I still do love the people of Nevis. And whatever I can do for the people of Nevis, I will. But I'm going to send this song across here to my boy, Daly. I think my boy, Funny, will deal with it appropriately for me.
Coming up next, well, this fellow is a regular customer. We always look forward to him to give us something with humor. Singing Calypso for almost 30-something years, that is a very long time. He carries the sobriquet, the funny man of Calypso. Name of the song, The True Sense of the Word. I would like you to welcome Funny. Bring him on. Yes. Tell you. Yes. What's the use of a word if you can't use it? All words were made to use as long as you don't abuse it. You see the don't say this, don't say that, that does get me vexed. Nothing's wrong with a word used in the right context. Criminal swine politics, padding pseudo-racists. They make them words because all them things do exist. You must call a snake a snake. You must call a hog a hog. What else you call a dirty rat? And a dog must be called a dog. Now they have a thing they call jackass, and I'm sure all of you have heard. It's because the place full of jackasses. And I'm talking about the true sense of the word.
No,
Hello?
you're alive. You're alive.
The place full of police and thieves, drug addicts and bandits, lawyers and magistrates, skullduggery and plenty rackets, raper men and prostitutes, homosexual and pimps, boo-boo, dumb stupidity, and also a set of hymns, politicians and liars, it a thief, it a clums and crooks, pancake face, all them words in the book. If you're blowing something, that's blowing. Brushing something, well, you're brushing. If you're eating saltfish, well, you're eating. And if you're screwing, then you're screwing. And if you're going, say that you're going. And you don't have to use no code. And when you come in, tell me you're coming. And I'm talking about the true sense of the word. Tell you. Yeah. It have words like boomerang and boogie woogie. Kilimanjaro Mount, Shush Kebab and Sukiyaki. It have tick, tock, toe, tea, small, soft, old, thin, ban, boom, see, big, bottom, hole. It have peace and love and nice and sweet. It have virgins and it has sex. Liquor, soccer, you don't have to use pretext. It have big stones and it have balls. I know Willie and Charlie. You could either get stick or prick. They don't show nanny on TV. Well, I know the dicks and them living just down the road. So if I see Mr. Patrick could pass for a dick, I'm talking about the true sense of the word. Yeah. The Lord funny. Yeah. Hey, funny. Tell you. Yeah. When you're going to the court to give evidence, you have to tell it just like it is. You don't have to use no pretense. If you see sing, dropping pipe all along the way, or how she name, taking leather, that's what you have to say. If you see the sheriff naked and the cops have him on the run, I would like to hear how you describe the sheriff gun. It has some big Calypsonians, some monarchs and some young king. Some of them poor Calypsonian just have a little thing. But Rio de Fosto Brigo, Anatomy Bliss, I know you have heard. So we know they have plenty happiness. And I'm talking about it. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Funny. Tell you. Yeah. Check any dictionary for the true meaning. Or watch cable television. You go hear all the words I using. Word like fox, cox, hard, bone, number 2 and T, funk, drunk, skunk, monk, breast, drawers and panty. It have a word called impotent. It have tongues, men cannibal too. Use your head, Viagra cannot help you. Women throwing away babies, carnal knowledge and incest too. Men who can't take a little horn, now how could I explain you? If a female dog make a male pup, and I'm not trying to be absurd, it means that she is a bitch and he's the son of a bitch. And I'm talking about the true sense. Yeah? Hello? Funny! Let me hear.
Yes, that's the Lord funny. So, Brother Daly, choose which one of them you want to be. But that's the true sense of the word. And that one is for you. My good people, let's move on to Premier Brantley again. And this is where I think Brother Daly and his team need to focus and pay attention. Now, during the budget address of 2024 for the year 2025, I heard Premier Brantley made a statement at his opening remarks at the budget address. And if I was living in Nevis and supporting the opposition, I would have organized a team of people to be in Charlestown or over at the Owali Pier to greet the Premier when he arrived. Because I am pretty sure when the Premier campaigned about sending him down to St. Kitts to Church Street to be the whip to make sure he bring back Nevis fair share, he went down there to take on everybody to defend Nevis. But I want you guys to listen for yourself. I don't want to say what he said. Take a listen to this clip. This is what the people of Nevis and the Green Team should be upset about. Let's take a listen.
Madam Speaker, I believe that there are some who have tuned in this morning because it is customary for those who are in opposition to use their time in this House and to use their time in every forum available to them to curse the government. I would want to say with respect that if those people are tuned in now, then they might as well shut off and go and do something more worthwhile. Because it is my interest today to have what I would call a reasoned discussion and debate as to where we are as a country, where we're going, and what my perspectives might be. If I am short on cussing, I hope that I'm long on ideas, and that is what I'm seeking to do.
So my good people, the Premier basically started off telling you the people that he represents. He's not there to take your message to the people on Church Street. So if that's what you all sign on for, sign off, go sleep, do something else. But the Premier went on to do something else that I appreciate, but he did not go far enough. And this was in regards to the taxes. So let's take a listen as we go along.
To do with the small business community. I'm a strong advocate for small businesses. I'm a strong advocate for small businesses because research has shown that the small business community tends, Madam Speaker, to be the backbone of most economies, even advanced and developed economies. And I confess that I read through the budget address and I saw the effort in relation to cost of living. I saw the effort being made in relation to other aspects of the economy. I did not see what is being proposed to stimulate the small business sector. And I just want to make one small point, that as we talk about cost of living, as we talk about the small business sector, then something that the small business sector has been complaining about, certainly in my engagement with them, is the model for computation of charges at the port. This is not new. But apparently I'm told that when a small business brings in its products at the port, and let us say that it attracts customs duty at 20%, and it attracts customs service charge at 6%, and the item costs $100, trying to use some math that I could calculate, that it appears that the process is that you get that $100, let us say the $100, to make it easy, is the CIF, carriage insurance, cost insurance and freight. So that comes to 100. So you're paying your taxes based on CIF, not the cost alone, but cost, insurance, and freight. If the duty is 20%, then you charge 20% of that. That's $20. If the customs service charge is 6%, you charge 6% of that. That's $6. Then you add those back to the $100. And then you calculate the VAT of 17%. So essentially, people are paying tax on tax. So that $100 costs insurance freight becomes $126 when you've added duty and customs service charge. And then you're paying 17%, not on 100, but on 126. Bearing in mind that the 26 is already tax, 20 is customs, 6 is customs service charge. And many have said, I have not done the math myself, but many small businesses have said that if we were simply to change that to do a straight line, meaning customs is 20%, in my example, $20. Customs service charge is 6%, $6. VAT is 17%, $17. So we pay 100 plus 20 plus 17 plus 6. And customs is not no value. How are you going to add customs back to the amount and call it value added? What is the value that the customs officer has added by working out what the math is? He's working out, it's a tax. So when you take the cost and you add back the customs duty and you add back the customs service charge and then you levy the VAT. Well, what I'll say is this, and the member for number 8 is right. It has been that way. That is not my point. It has been that way for all the years. I think that we need to look at that because, as I said, the small business community is saying that simply by making that adjustment, it would help them in terms of the pressure that they claim they face at the port. So I raise that because, as I said, that methodology, and it impacts the small businesses, and it also can impact the cost of living. Because if individuals feel that this is what they have to pay, then obviously they then tack on top of that their profit, and that is how it goes. So the change, I believe, can be very helpful to our people, to the small business community, in terms of moving us forward. On the mark.
Yes, like I said, that contribution, I think, was pretty good at the budget address. I don't think he went far enough because what the small business are actually asking for is some stimulus, some cash, some relief to get them going because they're still struggling since the COVID. So as we continue, my good people, the next clip I'm going to drop, this one is speaking about procurement. And again, this is where Kelvin Daly and his team of Green should be focusing, where the Premier and his team violate the rules of their constitution or whatever over there. That is where they need to focus on, not on the DJ. The DJ only bringing the information and the people's message. The DJ is not running for any office in Nevis. But when you stay out there on social media and have all you say, keep in mind that when I come into this parliament and I respond, I don't want nobody to tell me to show respect or to be nice, because you all know I am capable. I am quite capable of responding to anyone that disrespect me, anyone around me, anyone that is close to me, or anyone that is related to me. I am quite capable of responding appropriately. I think I have demonstrated that over the years. So let's move on to the next clip.
On the mark.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Gunn.
Good evening to you.
Sir?
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Okay, a couple of things. Because I've been listening to you and talking about what is legally right and what is morally right. And
I said what is legally right. I didn't say anything about morally right.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Isn't need for argument.
Well, no, I'm correcting your caller. You're calling in. You're telling me what I've said.
Correct me, because I didn't ask to be corrected. I'm just saying.
Well, whether you asked to be corrected or not, I'm telling you what was said.
Hold on. When Mr. Brand, which you said in your last, well, the second to last first statement, that Mr. Brand architectural firm was given a direct contract, meaning there was no bidding, there was no kind of information that was sent out there for anybody else in the public to get a chance to bid for the job. Do you know that there's a law that was passed in 2012, the Procurement Act or whatever it is, which basically requires any government that has power to bid or put these jobs out there to be tendered. You're familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with it, caller. You're educating me. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Fine. It was.
So the premier is saying that he's the head of Navis, but he's not familiar with the Procurement Act. And the Green Team let that slide. I don't think they filed anything with the Ombudsman. I don't think they filed anything in court to address all of these violations on Nevis. That is where they should be. Not coming at the DJ that has been doing things to benefit them and the people of Nevis. But this is where their eyes at, the DJ. That is only bringing the information, the message from the people. So let's move on to clip number 4. And clip number 4, basically, I support the premier in this one. I really support the premier in this one. I know some of you might not like to hear me say it, but I support the premier in this one.
Mr. Dixon, your paper that I've seen some lavish spreads of hotel and resort and, oh man, they've given you more information than they've given the government. Because the kinds of things I've seen in the paper, I mean, Nevis will be moving in leaps and bounds if these things can materialize. But I want to say from here that I've grown tired, I've grown weary of people who are wasting the time of the people of Nevis. People who come in here, say they have the capital, say they have the resources to do something, and then they're not doing what they say they're going to do. When it's said and done, the public points a finger at me, and that is okay. In fact, I expect them to do that. I'm the Premier of Nevis. But it is very disheartening to sit down, negotiate with people in good faith. Mr. Dixon, everything they asked of this government, they got. They want tax holiday, they want concessions, they want this, they want that. We are always prepared to partner with investors. But don't come and call yourself an investor. And then years later, we can't see anything on the ground. And that is the difficulty that we've had. And I am not afraid to say so. Just what I'm telling you on the public, I have said to these individuals, right? You all either going to deliver or stop wasting our time.
You know? And I can support that with the premier. I've heard the premier complain that people cussing him when he tried to get things done and things don't get done. They come back and they say this and they come back and they say that. So if he's saying now, listen, put up or shut up, I don't see that you guys should be giving the premier a rough time on that. We got to select the things that we complain about. Choose the fight. Choose the real fight. Choose the real fight, man. You know, I don't know if you guys realize something, you know. I don't know if you guys realize something, but I am going to give another update this evening. And an update that I know some people don't really want to hear about. But DJ Marisha is committed to continue giving the update and where we are with my good brethren there. The man cancer words, the Lord Black, the Buffalo Soldier. Now, as you guys are aware, last week I announced that I applied for a permit to do an awareness march to the streets of Bastille. And the awareness march is not to march against any government, by the way, because I know some of you, every time you all hear about march, you all think somebody marching against the government. I am putting this march together to bring some awareness that we are still waiting to get some updates on the status of the investigation surrounding the disappearance of Lord Black. And I also want to bring some awareness that we are still waiting to hear from the Ministry of Health. It appears as though that once cans was put underground, the matter is closed because I'm not hearing anything, but not under my watch, not under the DJ watch. If tomorrow I get a call from the family members and said that the police have reached out to them and they're satisfied with the situation, fine, I can cancel the match. And if they hear from Ministry of Health, fine, I can cancel the match. But until I get a call from the family, from the powers that be, that something is being done, the match is on schedule for Friday, 7th February, starting at 4 over there at the Circus Club, right? Now, when I checked the status of the application earlier today, it's still saying pending. So a week ago, I applied for this permission, but it's still pending. My good people, I know that people say, when it comes to St. Kitts Nevis people, when something happened, they talk for it for 9 days and it's done. Well, it's 9 and 6 months. And the Marisha not done until something is done about the situation. As I said last week, there was 2 incidents with bus accidents. There was a baby died in a car. Somebody was arrested already. There was a situation with a bus where 5 people passed away. That driver was charged already. And to date, we are not getting any information on cans over 5 months later. Sunday, I had a little experience in Warner Park and I laughed to myself because it's good to know that people is listening to this podcast and people are really paying attention. They're not just listening. You see, the politicians, them listen, but they don't pay attention. The citizens are listening and they're paying attention. I was sitting on the lawn there across from the bar having a drink, watching the West Indies ladies playing their first game. And a gentleman walked over to me and said, good afternoon, Mr. Marisha, can I have a word with you? I said, sure, no problem. So the gentleman leaned over and he said to me, listen, I want you to know straight up, I'm not a fan of yours. I said, that's all right. You want to speak, you don't have to be a fan to speak to me. You can speak. Then he sat on the grass next to me and he said, Mr. Marisha, I want to tell you this. I listen to your podcast every week. I hope people are paying attention and understanding. I said, well, you just told me that you've been listening and you understand. Many people say the same thing you said to me. So I take it as people are listening and they understand. I said, but go on. He said, well, this thing with cans, I'm glad you're not letting it go, you know. I'm glad you're not letting it go. Because how these people expect to have somebody in their nursing home collecting $25 plus $100 a month and lose a whole man and don't want to be accountable? I said, that is where the conversation is. I said, but my fight is not just about that home. My fight is also about getting things done for the health system in the Federation in general, because these regulations need to be put in place. I do not know where my end going to be, but if I am to end up like Hans, or worse than Hans, I would like to know that things are in place for me and the future of this Federation. But for those of you who might be out there thinking, boy, Marisha, give this thing a rest, it's not going to get any place. I just want you all to know something. As long as God give me the health and strength to come here any day of the week, especially on a Wednesday evening, until I get information from the police satisfactory to what they are reporting, and something from the Ministry of Health satisfactory to what they put in place to ensure that these healthcare systems have guidelines and regulations, you're going to be hearing from me weekly. I'm not going any place. No matter what the case may be, DJ Marisha is not moving from his crease and this matter until something is done. So let's get that clear. Now, as I reflect earlier today about this evening, I said, you know, I can recall when the buffalo went missing. I can recall when I first went on my first search. I can recall when the police officer said to me that the reason why they don't have more people is because they have the forces in Nevis for Culturama. I could also recall when they said they're not searching on that Tuesday or whatever day it was, because they need the police for Juve in Tabernacle, Festab. You're going to tell me, with all the military people, police, defense force, and everybody else, civil servants, NGO organizations that they have in our beloved Federation, you could not get 20 people to come out on a search for the buffalo. When I went and said I said an appeal for assistance in search, a couple of people that came out that Friday morning made it clear that they only came because I made the appeal, because they don't trust the police. They don't want to have nothing to do with the police. Now, at the end of that search, when we spoke, a police officer said, Mr. Marisha, you don't think that guys like you in your position can do something to try and rebuild confidence with the community and the police? I said, well, that is what I tried to do today, to get folks to come out and help to search for cons. And going forward, I have no problem playing my part, but you, the police officers, have to gain the confidence of the citizens. What have transpired over the last 5 months does not give DJ Marisha, Hans Edwards' family, and the citizen confidence in the police. We have lost confidence. It's up to the police. It's up to the Ministry of Health and them to do the right thing. The funny thing about it is, Sadler's is a very large village. And I think that morning of the search, if we had 20 people, we didn't have 25. Of those 20 or 25 persons, I gotta give credit and respect to Dr. Jensen Morton. I was shocked when he showed up. I thought he just stopped by to say hi, but he said no, he's coming on the search. And he was in my team of people, the group that we was walking. And when I got the call, if we can hold on because Khan's daughter flew in from New York, One of the hardest things for any kid should have been to have to come to St. Kitts, where they put their father in a home that's supposed to be safe because basically, according to them, a doctor used to visit him at his home in Middle Island once a month. That doctor recommended to the family that he need round-the-clock care. So they decided to put him in that home, paying some $2,500 or plus a month to make sure he's safe. And his daughter gonna come to St. Kitts. His brother Melvin gonna come to St. Kitts. 9 days after he went missing, to find him up in a Godside, up in the Saddlers Mountain. And the day of the find, the drove of people coming up the hill with their cameras, of course, their smartphones, to spread the news. But 5 months later, not a word on the investigations, not a word, and putting measures in place that this does not happen again. While I was in the hills, the crime unit for the Royal St. Kitts Police Force, Royal St. Kitts Nevis Police Force, was still there processing the scene. Cans was still in the Godside. When I got a call from GQ, and I want to thank GQ and the staff at ZIZ for spreading the word. But they wanted to confirm if what they're hearing was true, if we found cans. I told him yes. In less than an hour into the search, on the 9th day, we find the man where he was. And to me, he did not die long. GQ decided he would like to do an interview with me. And many of you might want to know why I am still fighting this thing. You all did not have the experience that I had with Kans throughout his life and throughout the search for 9 days. So let me give you guys a little memory. Let me give you a little memory. Take a listen to my interview with GQ that morning when we found Kans.
Yesterday we had on the, in the studio with me, DJ Maury Shaw. He was here yesterday on the radio, soliciting the help of the public to aid in the search this morning. And during the search this morning, we found out the sad news. I have DJ Maury Shaw on the line with me. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, GQ. How are you doing?
I'm okay, taking it easy. And of course, you know, the sad news has put a little damp on the morning for good reasons, but I'm okay.
I could understand because right now, I mean, I was telling someone a while ago, I don't even know how to feel. I have chills throughout my body, throughout my stomach. The water just coming out of my eyes. We pray to God that we found him. Doesn't matter the condition, and yet he's found, and then it's a different feeling because of the fact that he's no longer with us. But I'm happy for the family for closure, but still, nevertheless, knowing that he's gone, it's a feeling that I just can't explain. But at the same time, I just want to take the time out, GQ, to thank you for yesterday, because when I came to you with the appeal to assist in getting the information out for the search this morning, your reaction was so positive, and let's do it, you know, let's cut into your show. You had your show already planned for the day, and you cut into your program to accommodate myself and the Blacks. So I really want to thank you for the initiative that you took yesterday. I want to thank the manager of ZIZ and Brother Cornelius and the team that did the news item last night. I think your contribution went a big way in getting the crowd out this morning. I got many phone calls from around the region, from the Virgin Islands, from New York, who heard the news item and made this thing possible. I want to thank the forces that came out. Albert Rubain of Saddlers here. The people in the community that really came out. We have Morris Leader, former hornman of the Elimat and Jazz Brass. Singing Jackie's husband from yesterday. He been on my case calling, telling me, Marisha, just let me know when you're going again. Jackie wants me to join you in the search for cancer. It's been a good support. And surprisingly this morning, his daughter, who came in from the U.S. last night, and his brother was able to join the search. So they are here with me at the moment as we wait for the scene to be processed. We are still in the mountains here waiting for the crime unit to process the scene. But it's a very sad day for St. Kitts Nevis. And I would hope that this is a learning process for us. I keep talking about the love and support that we need to give each other. Somewhere along the line, we lost that love that we grew up in here in our beloved federation. I would hope we don't have another situation like this again. You know, this should be a learning process for all of us. You know, the black is no longer with us.
Marisha, thank you for taking the time out to share. And I'm lost for words right now, my friend. I'm lost for words.
It's understood because I myself, anyone who know me know that when it comes to the music and the disc jockeying and the MC or whatever, my weekly program, words is something that I can find, but at the moment, it's just a down feeling. It's one side is joy to find him, and the other side is a very sad day for myself, for the community of St. Kitts Nevis, and for his family. And I just want you guys to keep us in your prayers and continue to echo the love that is required as a community. Tell them bad boys out there, put down the guns. We don't need this. We need to come together as a community. I want to thank Commissioner Sutton for taking my call and returning my calls yesterday and went out of the way and put things in place for this morning. I want to thank Superintendent Jasper Carty for leading the team this morning, and everyone, Jesse Marisha, everyone that came out and really gave me the support this morning, because it was not an easy morning for me. It was not an easy morning, and we found him in quick time this morning. We want to also thank the folks from Ross University that came out with the canine dog, and the folks from NEMA that came out with the drone system, the fire department, the police, the army. I want to thank everyone for their contribution.
Thank you for your time, and thanks for sharing. Despite that, it is sad news. At least we know what's going on, and like you said, it's a sense of closure.
Yes, so my good people, that was the interview following the finding of Brother Edwards. And for people out there who does not understand the pain that this family is feeling at the moment, and the pain that I may be feeling at the moment, who might be looking about, who do I want to get a rest in this situation? My good people, I think we're supposed to be more sensible than this. I work in the healthcare system in North America, and I'm not trying to bring everything that happened in North America to our beloved federation, but I'm hoping that we can use our common sense. When someone with dementia, who is known by the facility, someone who is a doctor, took an oath to take care of their patient, that have said to the family that this individual cannot be at home by themselves, they need round-the-clock care. They take that responsibility to secure and ensure safety of that individual. So when a family gone missing, turn up 9 days later dead, and the family is not getting any comforting, satisfying word from the police or the Ministry of Health, I want you all to put yourself in that position. If it was you or a family member of yours, how would you feel? But I know the way things should be done. And by now, the family should have got some information from the police and from the Ministry of Health. Where I worked in New York, and it should be in any healthcare situation, something like this happens, there should be some strict implementation of guidelines, and if necessary, shut that place down pending the outcome of that investigation. because, in my view, that place was not adequate, was not properly staffed for dementia patients. There was a lot of mistake made, in my opinion. Every one of those patients that have passed through that facility, the Ministry of Health said they're doing an investigation. That's what they said to me. They sent a team out. That's more than 5 months ago to do the investigation. It takes 5 months to get back to the family with some report. Every patient in that facility, including the person that went missing and dead, their medical record should have been pulled and have a proper investigation with the good doctor and the staff at that facility. The family member deserve this. We need to put corrective measures in place that this should not happen again. And I'm not going to be going back and forth debating on this matter when it's so straightforward, common sense. But what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to play this clip from Freedom FM, the big JL, who was the manager for Cance Edwards while he was working at ZIZ. And even after he left ZIZ, he did some work at the Freedom FM. And I want to know why these entities, these NGOs, the citizens are so quiet. We are the ones supposed to be shaping this government and these guidelines. If they don't do it willingly, we have to make sure they do what they're elected to do. Cut out the parties in politics. That is our problem. Too much parties in politics, too much friendship in everything. Let's use our common sense. The big JL is there. I can't tell him what to do on his podcast or on his radio station. But what he's going to say in this next clip, if he honestly feels this way about Cance, or felt this way about Cance, say something, do something. During the big crime wave in America, in New York in particular, our slogan was, if you see something, say something. That's what we need in St. Kitts and Nevis now. You see something, say something. Together, we need to mold this country.
St. Kitts and Nevis is mourning after the heartbreaking discovery of Constantine Cance Edwards, also known as Lord Black, in the Calypso world. The beloved former radio personality and cultural icon was found dead earlier today, Friday, bringing a tragic conclusion to a week-long search that began after he was reported missing from a senior's home in Sadlers. The search for the 76-year-old Edwards, who was affectionately known as the Buffalo Soldier for his tenacity and spirit, ended in sorrow as his body was discovered deep in the rugged mountains of Sadlers. According to initial reports, it appears that Edwards may have slipped into a gut and was unable to make his way back to safety. The exact circumstances of his death are still under investigation, but the pain of his loss is already being felt across the islands. Edwards, a cherished figure in the community, had taken one of his usual walks into the hills last Thursday, August 1st, but tragically never returned. His disappearance prompted an intense search as friends, family, and community members held on to hope that he would be found alive and safe. Today's discovery, therefore, has shattered those hopes, leaving the community to grapple with the devastating loss of a man who had become a cornerstone of local culture and broadcasting. Cance Edwards was more than just a radio personality. He was a passionate advocate for local music and culture. During his tenure at ZIZ Radio and Television and Freedom FM, he hosted the National Showcase program, a platform dedicated to promoting local music and celebrating the richness of Kittitian and Nevisian heritage. Freedom FM spoke to DJ Jeffroy Marisha on Friday morning, who was part of the search party, and this is what he had to say. Well, the nation is in mourning this morning after hearing of the tragic loss of life to Cance Edwards, also known as Lord Black in the Calypso world. The former radio personality and cultural icon was found dead earlier today. Now we have Jeffroy Marisha on the line, and he was part of the search party that discovered the body of the lifeless Cance Edwards in Sadler's Mountain. Good morning, Marisha.
Good morning, the big JL. How are you doing?
Not doing too good, but giving thanks for life, bobbing and weaving, as we say. What can you tell us about the search party this morning and what was discovered at the end of that?
Brother Joel, first I want to say, yesterday, well, not yesterday, but the previous day, I reached out to the Commissioner of Police, Commissioner Sutton, in an effort to get a final push to try and search for Brother Edwards. I also spoke to the acting Prime Minister, Deputy Hanley, about an effort, the nation's effort to find Brother Edwards. And I received a call back from Commissioner Sutton yesterday morning, and I gave him my views as I speak very plainly to everyone I speak to, that I was not satisfied with the overall effort by the communities and the forces in trying to find or locate Brother Edwards that missing since last Thursday evening. And after outlining my position on the matter, Commissioner Sutton said, Mr. Marisha, I heard you. I know you are on the ground, and I know you're a community person, and I appreciate the candid conversation. I can assure you that I will put things in place to accommodate your request for a search in the morning. He told me to get back to me in a few minutes, and he did, within 10 minutes, send me a message that he has mobilized the various forces, NEMA, Fire and Rescue, the Army, our Defense Force, Police, and other individuals, Ross University with the canine dog, the drone from the NEMA, and they will be available to meet with me on Friday morning, August 9th, at the Sadler's Playing Field to go and locate Mr. Edwards, sorry. And from that point, I said, well, boy, I remember back in the days, the big JL was the man in charge at ZIZ during the time where Cans Edwards and I worked at ZIZ and via Galloway and the crew. So I decided, let me go across to ZIZ and speak to who is there and find out what they can do in regards to do an outreach to the community. And when I got there, looking for Jazzy, I understand she was on vacation. So I asked who's in. They said GQ. And after speaking with GQ, he explained to me that he was doing a program and he would interrupt his program to accommodate my request, which I thank him for. And then he went and got the manager for the station who came and spoke to me about doing an on-camera interview to reach out to the general public.
Yeah, well, we saw that interview on ZIZ, and you did a very good job in outlining the search and what you intended to do, and the forces that were being mobilized to search for Lord Black. Now, I want to ask you this, Marisha. It appears from the reports that I got this morning here at Freedom FM that the body was found in the mountains of Sadlers, and according to reports, it seems as if Cons may have slipped into a gut from a ravine.
So correct.
You were there. What did you observe?
Well, what I observe, and I really leave it up to the powers that be in terms of the autopsy to bring the facts. But my observation is that Cons has been missing for now, 7-8 days. But based on what I observe, yes, I have said to individuals, as a matter of fact, we just had a debriefing there with the team, and we found Cons this morning within an hour of search, which speaks volume because we've been searching for days and have not came up with anything. And the area in where he was found, I myself passed through there several times, including yesterday morning, but when I'm telling the team, let's go through the grass area, they say, no, he would not go through any grass, but he went through a grass area. However, he got through there. It was through a grass area where it appears as though he fell over a cliffside.
Oh, boy.
And the position in which he was, it's clear that to me, he was trying to come back up, never made it back up. And if I am to give some kind of judgment, I'm not a doctor, but based on my observation, Cons die within the last 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
And as I said to the officers, not to blame themselves for the situation, because I am of the view, where we found Cons this morning,
are the remains this morning. Monday, when we was in that area, even if we had gone there, Kans would not have been there on Monday. He'd been traveling. And the distance up in the mountain that we find him, I could be wrong with my assertion, but it's more than 2 miles up from the main road. 2-3 miles up in the mountains. There's a very dense area up there. So he'd been walking for days. And in his condition, again, working in the hospital industry, and sometimes folks with dementia and those things, when you hear certain sounds, whether thunder, lightning, rain, you're not going to come out and face the general public. You're going to hide. You're going to try to protect yourself because you're disoriented. My only disappointment, Joni, and I cannot hide it because, I'm a plain speaker. And I hope going forward we can learn from this. When somebody's report missing, I know even in America they got this thing about you have to be missing for 24 hours before you start searching. If we know the person and we know the situation, we need to start right away. Too many people saw Kans that evening before when he disappeared for us not to find Kans earlier. Had folks take the initiative and report properly. I am here in the Federation. You know me, I'm a community man. If I hear something, I'm going to start on it without anybody else. I'm going to push, And when I look at yesterday as a week passed by and I said people hope start getting dim and nobody going to be looking, that is why I reach out to the Commissioner of Police and say, listen, do me a favor. Let's do one last big push.
Okay.
Let's do this. If I don't find him today, then I'll accept the fact that Kans is gone. We're not going to find him, but let's do one last big push. And I really appreciate the Commissioner for accepting my appeal, accommodating me. And like I said, finding him within an hour of the search.
Yeah.
Is a big accomplishment. We don't like the result, but the idea of giving closure to the family. The Canaiva dog there, the canine from the Ross University played a big part in us locating Kans. The drone from the NEMA played a big part, and the police and defense force. Everybody's contribution, the community involvement. We need to get the community back to communicate to the police. That thing that we used to have back in the days is that they're no longer journey. We need to get the community and police back together so that things like this will not happen again.
All right, Marisha, I want to thank you. We're out of time. I'm recording this for the news. But are there any final thoughts? In the days coming up, there's going to be more analysis, more reviews of what happened and why it happened. So we're going to hear from you again in the not-too-distant future. But what are your thoughts on Kans's demise? Basically, we know that he was a community guy himself. He'd done so much. He was an icon in broadcasting, on radio, on ZIZ, and here on Freedom FM, he did a Saturday night show from 9 until whenever he decided he got tired, He would say 9 to 12, but 3 o'clock he's still on, He was that kind of person, very engaging, very loving, very considerate kind of guy, very giving and loyal to a fault. And so we really missing Kans Edwards at this time. Are there any closing thoughts, Marisha?
Well, my closing thought, as I said on ZIZ yesterday, is because of Kans why I ended up at ZIZ to be one of the disc jockeys there. And at the time, you were the general manager at ZIZ, very accommodating. And Kans was someone who, as I say, is very giving, very helpful, always there for me. It was like a brother figure. Whenever he visits the States or the Virgin Islands, they come to St. Kitts. I mean, anyone know me. Kans is like a brother from another mother. And some of us look at status in terms of finances and having stuff. Kans did not have to have anything. Kans just loved people. Kans just go out and help. And I'm going to miss him dearly.
Likewise.
Because the situation is, I have seen what Kans have done for people, helping people like Sage. I mean, I met Kans and Sage together for years, and it's the same love I have for both of them. I met them living together, and words right now is getting the better of me. But all I can say, my love for Kans is just like any other brother, just the same as with you, Junior. I mean, I just tell people sometimes we call a spade of a particular situation and people take it to a next level. But you have to be able to tell your brother your opinion without falling out and getting upset with each other. And that was Cons. No matter what I would say to Cons, Cons never get upset and stop talking to me and that kind of stuff. There was always love.
Marisha, thank you so much for your thoughts this morning. I appreciate you. When I called you this morning and indicated I'd like to have you on Freedom News, you said yes without any reservations at all. And you've come and made your points. And here we'd like to send out condolences to the grieving family, the loved one, the friends, the fans, everybody who knew Cons Edwards, knew what he was about. So thank you again, Marisha, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah, so that was a conversation with the Big JL there on the day of the search on August 9th, 2024. And my good people, what the family is asking for and what DJ Marisha is asking for, the dialogue don't have to be this controversial. You know? This covering up, and all depends on who you are investigating or what you're investigating. The games that has been played is what causing this pain to this family, is what causing this pain to the DJ. So my good people, I'm not going overtime this evening. So I'm going to stop here at this point. I have a lot more stuff to discuss this evening, but I'm going to roll it over to the program next week. So until such time, as we speak next Wednesday, I'm going to bring you the unofficial anthem of our beloved Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. It's now 7:51, so let me drop this track and get out of here. Don't forget, February 5th, 7th is the date. That's the date that we will.
Your country dying and never lend a helping hand. Would you see your children's future dwindling, creating much disillusion? Or would we watch on idly, disregarding our self-sufficiency? Maladministration building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. Rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours. in public office, being accused of unemployment and crimes, or disrupting a citizen's peace. Oh, my country in this harmony, separated politically. Hatred for a brother cannot love each other. No, I say no, not at all. Citizens, let's unite and stand up for rights, all our lives and our lives. Let us reintegrate and correct our mistakes. Reunification, building a brand new nation. We'll move on together hand in hand. So rise, citizens, arise. The country is yours, all yours, still yours.
Yes, my good people, and that brings this program to a close. Would like to thank the good people there at Island Purified Water, their Main Street, Newton Ground, St. Kitts. The man, Brother Powell and team, thanks for keeping the DJ hydrated when he's in our beloved Federation. I also want to take this time out to thank you folks who might have reached out to the Public Works Department to let them know about that grid that was open there in the Newtown Bay Road next to Elfrido's restaurant. I realized on Saturday when I checked, the grid was closed and the cone was moved to the opposite side of the road. I hope they remember they have to pick up that cone. However, I still don't have any light on my lamp pole here in front of my property. So I'll appreciate someone reaching out to Skelec, give them a reminder. Also, that pothole over there under the Mansion Bridge, that need to be addressed. Is a serious accident waiting to happen there. Until such time, my good people, have a pleasant evening, and I look forward to having you back here next Wednesday, same place, same time.